Hi everyone. I'm going to go over what's going on in week 7 this week. Before I go over stuff that you're going to be turning in this week, I want to just go over some things that you need to have done by now to move forward in the course successfully. So if you have not already, let me go back to last week, set up your research log in your Writing Teams Google folder. You need to do that before you do anything this week. Okay, so you search through your UNCC email, you'll see that you received an invitation to your Writing Teams Google folder. You need to just create a new Google Doc in that folder titled whatever your name is, Research Logs, and then follow these instructions for building the skeleton outline of your research log, because this is a document that you will come back to again and again to to add all of the research that you do for your inquiry project topic. Okay, so you have to have that done before you can start doing the work this week. Also, if you have missed any of the past few studios, let me go down here. So this past one, the summary studio, if you didn't do that, that's going to be very important for you to know how to summarize within the research logs you'll do this week. If you missed the citation style, that's very important as well, because you were supposed to decide what citation style you're going to use for your research logs and for your project the rest of the semester. So those two are foundations for that. And also the peer review studio, because you're going to be doing lots of peer review going forward, and it's probably going to be a little bit different in our approach than in past ways that you've done peer review. So these summaries really lay the foundation. I mean, it's not summaries. These studios really lay the foundation for what you're going to be doing with your research logs coming up. If for some reason you had trouble with the summarizing studio and that you couldn't see the model summary, I think I had 1 or 2 people email me about that. But if you had trouble, you didn't email me, this is what you should see after you turn in your own practice summary. You'll turn it into the this Google form here, and it will pop back to you the model summary there. You shouldn't need to go searching through your email for it. It should be right there. So if you're having trouble with that, please let me know. Update me on that so I can know why it's late, and help you see that model summary if you're having trouble with it. Okay, so those are some of the main things that you need to have done to move forward successfully in the class, because we're starting a new phase now, which is the research phase of the extended inquiry project. So if we look at the week ahead here, you can see we have a research log 1 and a research log 2. So I want to remind people, I say this all the time, our goal is to slow down the research process, so you're finding usually 2 sources at a time. For the first research log, you find just 1 and write about those sources in detail, and then use those sources to help you find more. All right, so for research, let me just say something about this here before I get into the research logs. You can see it says review midterm self-assessment. So this is not due this week, but I want you to just look ahead at the assignment, which will be due next week. Okay, so just take a few minutes to review it and ask any questions that you have about the assignment there. This is just in preparation for kind of understanding where you are in the class, knowing that I have to post any unsatisfactory grades by October 14th. All right. Okay, so that is due next Monday. So go ahead and just take a look at that assignment now so you know what's coming up. So research log 1. Research logs are set up all in the same way, whether you're finding 1 or 2 sources, it will tell you. Okay, so find 1 source. All right, so this is one of the only ones where you're going to find only 1 source, and this is just to get you started on the research road. Okay, so you have two options here. So you can either find something, an article that we have not already read in the textbook Bad Ideas About Writing that you think connects to your guiding question in some way, or you can look at an article that we've already read for a source mentioned. So several of these authors that we have read so far in our textbook Bad Ideas About Writing have mentioned other studies or articles, etc. Or there's a key term that's very closely related that you'd like to look up. But first I want you to really look for any sources mentioned within a chapter in the further reading section of that chapter. Okay, so if I go to our Bad Ideas About Writing section, let me scroll through here. Okay, so for further reading, okay, this is where you would look for sources if you want to go with that first option. If you don't want to go with that first option, okay, then you can just look through the table of contents in our Bad Ideas About Writing. Look through the table of contents here and look for something that you think complements your topic of research. So this is something that I end up saying over and over again, is that you're most often not going to find something that says everything you want. You're looking for pieces of the puzzle, different voices that contribute to the topic that you are interested in learning more about. So if you feel that something, that the article touches on or lays a foundation for something related to your topic in some way, if you can make that case, then go ahead and use that article. So it doesn't have to be right on the nose, saying exactly the same thing that you're asking in your question. But, if you're talking about, let's say, is texting its own language? If that's your question, well, maybe one of these two articles would be something, even though they don't talk about it being its own language necessarily, maybe those would be good for you, okay? So, and also keeping in mind that all of these titles are what are considered bad ideas about writing, okay? So pretty much they're going to be saying the opposite of that when you're reading about them. All right, so when you found your article that you want to use, then you're going to follow these instructions very closely. Okay, so I'm not going to go through all of the instructions. It tells you, just like in the setup that you had to do, what each part should be designated as heading 1, heading 2, etc. And you do not need to include any of these colors. I just put them there so that it's easier to kind of understand the assignment and kind of see how it's all laid out. So don't include all this different color coding in your own. I just did that so it's easier to read the instructions and to kind of see how they're broken down. So once you're done and you've done each of these sections, you've done the bibliographic citation, the summary, the key terms, the editor's commentary, then you're going to go back to your table of contents, and if you click this little refresh button, it will update it and add to your table of contents the research log that you just did. So you don't need to go in and manually do that. If you have followed these instructions and used these headings and set up your research log correctly, then it will automatically, once you hit that refresh button at the table of contents, it will automatically update that for you. Okay, so here's how you're going to turn in each research log. So for research log 1, you will in the table of contents. Okay, so make sure you're in the table of contents, not down within the document. In the table of contents, click that copy link, okay, and submit that link to Canvas. All right, and that will allow me to go directly to your document within your writing team folder. Okay, so it's not going to work unless your document is in your writing team folder. So please make sure that it's there. Click that copy link, and that's all you're submitting to Canvas. Then when I click on that, I'll be able to go directly to your document there. Okay. And then for Wednesday, you are going to use the comments feature in Google Doc to comment on the summaries for, the summaries and the editor's commentary for your group members, your writing team members. Okay, so you'll offer feedback for revision, okay? And
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Okay, and so you'll make 2 comments per Google Doc. All right. Okay, so we are then going to have a studio due on Friday, which is evaluating sources. Okay, so this one pretty self-explanatory. You're going to go through something called the CRAP test, which you're going to use in future research logs to decide on how credible each source is. So most students find this really helpful. So again, oh, and let me go over research log 2. I forgot that one as well. So for research log 2, for each research log, you're going to be looking in different places for sources. So this time, you can see you're finding 2 sources that inform your research question. And for this research log, I'm having you look in actual writing studies journals. So these are people that research issues related to writing and reading. So look, I've already narrowed it down for you for research purposes to find sources from scholars who are currently researching many different topics related to writing and reading. I've looked over your inquiry questions, and I think all of you can find something related to your topic. Remember, it may not be exactly what you want, but related to your topic in some way in these journals. Okay, so what you'll do is you can click on them and search within them, and like I'll just type in writing. I know that's very vague, but as you go, you can skip all these ads here, but you can see that any of the other sources that come up here are all within that journal Kairos. Okay, so those would all be acceptable sources. Okay, all right, so let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you all have a great week.